What's up, Stephen Johnson Stocks, coming at you guys from the airport in Newcastle, flying back to Dubai. And the video is very long. Took me biggest loss ever, $1,600 this month, but also had my best month ever, up 2.5 grand. And it's a very positive way to close the year. And I'm super excited about next year. We'll get more into it, but have a happy new year. Keep on studying. I'm looking at playing a lot more the long side next year because I feel comfortable with the short side, but also mastering the short side. And I don't have much else just to say. Just make sure you're banging in that 1, 2, 3 hours a day every day, and over the course of 1 year, 2 years, it'll start to come together, as I'm sure it will, as it has for me. If you're trading a specific pattern and it's not working, look for another pattern. Keep on looking at charts until you see a pattern that kind of works for you and feels good for you, and just enjoy the trades. A couple of long setups in this one. The only short is my biggest loss, but nevertheless, over this past year, on reflection, I've gone from a losing trader to a trader that can fairly comfortably grind out $100, $200, $300 a day, and that's just wonderful. And next year you'll see more in the Excel, but no reason why I can't grind 500, 1,000, 2,000 a day after that. So peace out, live the dream. Thank you for the survey results on Twitter about dry January. I'm going to do it. These were the results up in the corner. And if you're a new trader, great time to start in the new year. I've done it, as you can see. If you want to try Tim's services on the challenge or silver, the link's in the description below. It's how I got profitable, and just live the dream. Again, excuse the noise, but this is the last trading day of the month today, and I'm flying. I'm in an airport right now, like I said before. So I'll be up or down another $100, $200. I'll not be trading any real size because I can't control the plane Wi-Fi, even if there is any, and the flight time, unfortunately, is exactly when the market opens. So really, I'm reflecting on the end of the year now, because today is the last day of the year, and what an incredible year it's been. To be losing consistently in the beginning, to these 2 months trying to breaking up around break even, scraping break even, to then getting around $1,000 profit, between 700 and 1,000, to then kind of catapulting and taking off, and despite taking a $1,600 loss, to still be up $2,500 on the month is really brilliant. And I expect exactly the same in the coming new year, to be averaging maybe $3,000 to $5,000 a month, and I don't think that's being optimistic at all. I think around 3 to 5. I'd say it's very easy to grind out a few $100s a day, sizing up a bit more, tweaks here and there, $300 a day. There's no reason why I can't be making $3,000 to $5,000 in the first 6 months of the year, and then $7,000 to $10,000 in the back 6 months of the year. You just need to look at the progress to date, from consistently losing to breaking even to really starting to kind of take off. Not take off in terms of I'll never be Britannia or Roland, but I'm a normal guy. Roland's a very intelligent guy. Gratani's a very intelligent guy. I'm still working part-time. I'm not expecting anything crazy, but equally, I don't think I'll take many steps back in progress, because you're learning all the time. You may have setbacks on a trade, but month on month, the progress is pretty consistent. And the Excel, it's going for $50 for the last few days, and then I'm not going to sell it, because I'm going to make a new one, tweak it, improve it, and then maybe sell it again in maybe February, March. But last chance, the last few days, if you want the Excel for $50. But as I say, the progress for me as a trader, and maybe for you, is 12, 13 months of losing, make 30 to 50k next year, part-time, and then full-time in year 3, maybe make somewhere between 50 and 100k, and then year 4, year 5, that's when you're really pushing to become a millionaire. And maybe I'll become a millionaire in 5 years, Roland will become a millionaire in 2 years, Gratani was a millionaire in 3 or 4 years, Dux was a millionaire in 1 year, Kruk was a millionaire over 6 or 7 years. I think there's no shame in when you do it, how you do it, as long as you get there, and have a blast, have a good new year. And for those who think my expectations are too optimistic, I'll remember when every single person, so many haters when I was saying, you'll never get profitable, you'll run out of enthusiasm, and then you'll lose when your bank account runs dry. That's it, doubt me now. Doubt me now, motherfucker. Doubt me now. So, this is SGLB. Apologies for the background noise. I'm in an airport at the moment. But yeah, I mean, this was my biggest loss ever. And to put things into context, I mean, I lost around 4,200 learning over about 12, 13, 14 months maybe, well, until I got profitable consistently. And then this loss of 1,600 was in one day. I mean, in one day I lost half of what I'd lost in the entire time of learning. So it was pretty brutal, and it could have been worse. But I'll talk you through the process of thinking. I was very, very overconfident, and I was on a good run. I was up about 400 on the day, and I shorted this big green spike. And you guys know who've been watching a while, I regularly short spikes, and I don't have a problem with shorting spikes, and I still don't have a problem shorting spikes. But I can just take you through the trade first of all. This popped up to the 170s, 180s. I was building in on it, and then it just ripped, halted, ripped. And before I knew it, I was in about $3,000-4,000 in from the 180s, and it flew up to the 350s, and I was down 100% on maybe like a $3,000-4,000 position. And there's two real things that I've learned from this, and I do cut losses. I do generally cut losses. I mean, these continuous spikes, I don't mind, because it creates a lot of back holders. It is a former runner, but there's a lot of back holders. So unless it has good news and crazy volume, it's not going to do anything like this move ever again. And generally what sold me was the spike fail, spike fail. But the problem is, going back to what I was saying, unless it has some sort of crazy news or some good news or crazy volume, it's not going to repeat. But that's exactly what it did have. If we go back to the day that it ran, the 22nd, we can see that if we look on the 22nd, we can see news that Sigma Labs was awarded a contract. So it's a contract winner now. The main rule about shorting stocks is don't short earnings winners and don't short contract winners, no matter what. Short stocks that are spiking on failed news, because then the catalyst is in your favor, because people are going to realize, actually, this stock is up on thin air, I'm going to get out. The second thing is this level of volume, and if we look at the float is 4.7 million. It traded on this day 16 million, so it rotated its float 4 times, which is huge volume. And the problem is, because it had good news and because it was a low float, it had such high volume, which made it rip so fast that I literally couldn't cut the loss. I was in at 180, a few minutes later I was up in the 350s. And ultimately, I was just stuck hoping. And hope is not a strategy, so you've got to not put yourself in these positions. So the amendment that I've made is, if it's a float of around 7, 8, 9 million, I'll check the volume and see, like, if it's a million shares traded on a 9 million float, I'll respect that, and I'll short it, but I'll not short big size. If it's 20, 30 million in volume and there's only like 5 million traded, it's only traded like 10, 15% of its float, so I'll go much bigger size, because I've got much more time to cut it, much more time to size down, much more time to build in later if it does come down. And you've also got to take into account, looking at Interactive Brokers, how many more shares are available. Because I need to think, well, can I short this higher up? Can I cut the loss and attack it higher? Will Interactive Brokers have many more shorts, or will I run out and I'll have to take a loss if it goes too high, because it might not come down for a few days? I really learned to take into account all of the variables. And ultimately, I covered a little bit as it came down to the 370s, but bear in mind my average is 180, I'm taking a 100% loss. And the next day I was really let off, because this could have spiked multiple days. It's a contract winner with unprecedented volume. I'm very lucky that it didn't spike. and as it panicked down, actually covered some in the 290s as it broke 3. I thought 3 hold on might be resistance, and I covered some down in the 270s before I covered the rest of my position and went long about $1,000 and covered on the way up on this bounce because I knew it was a huge panic. It was due a bounce, and I actually made some back on the long side as well. But I will never short contract winners, earnings winners ever again, and I will always check volume and float to check the relationship between them to make sure I've got enough time to size down cut losses in the future. And this should never happen again. I'm well on the way to recovery. It's a very good lesson. Right, I will not go in too much because I've already kind of addressed it, but it's a Bitcoin play, and it's one of the leading Bitcoin Nasdaq blockchain stocks. So it had this multi-day run here when Bitcoin was hot. It had a multi-day run here when Bitcoin was hot. It had a multi-day run here when Bitcoin was hot. And then when Bitcoin crashed from the 45s down to the 20s, this was when Bitcoin crashed from the 20,000s and went as far down as 10,000. Then as it was basing in the 14,000 area, on this day it was pushing, but unlike on this day it was holding its highs. Here we can see it was pushing where the cross is, December 26. It was getting it at nighttime. The US stock market was closed. It was pushing 15.3, 15.4, and it looked like it would have its bounce on its way to 16, 17,000. As it happened, the next day it started coming down, and it was testing the 14.5s before coming back up on the 28th. So on this day, on the 26th, I was buying it, and if we go back to the normal chart, I mean, it's got every sign. I mean, its catalyst is Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks like it's on the recovery. The stock is at its highs. It's a leader in its sector. I was buying all dips. And I learned this from Roland, really, like, buy the panics, never buy strength. So we know that the catalyst is strong. We know that the stock's not going to panic down because it can't, because it's got good news. Amateur traders will panic out and think, oh no, it's just failing, because they're just trading the pattern. I'm trading the catalyst. So I know I can buy any dips. So I'm buying dips around here, I'm buying dips around here in the 31s and the 30s, buying dips around the 31s again. And to be honest, a couple of times I did chase. I remember a couple of times I got carried away and thought I was going to miss out and chased around the 32s. But I went into it with a 31 average, and I held it. And as Bitcoin spiked, I got up at 4 o'clock US time, which was like 12 p.m. England time. And I was selling in the 33s, and then I checked Bitcoin and it was coming down, and following suit right, it was coming down. So as this started to fade, I was all out by the 33s, 33.50. And then it came down because Bitcoin come down. And now Bitcoin's stabilizing, so Riot's stabilizing. And we always see a pattern between the two. And if Bitcoin starts to push, I'll buy Riot again. And it was a good $300. Okay, so a lot of you guys are going to be like, why is he showing a $24 win? Is this 4 months ago, 5 months ago again, when he was celebrating over his $20 wins? And by the way, Tim Sykes was like, why are you so excited about a $20 win? And I remember being like, because it's fucking progress. Like, I've been losing for 12 months. And now it's funny because a $300 win, a $200 win, maybe like a $200 win means just as much as the $20 wins did back then. It really takes a $500 win, $600 win to feel something good, and if I made 1,000, I'd start feeling probably pretty ecstatic. But honestly, a $200 win means about the same as a $20 win did back in the day when I was just so happy to have a green trade. So it's quite funny. It's quite funny charting the evolution. But LINU was the biggest runner, and if you look at SGLB, I was thinking this is the type of look. It's a sign of learning lessons. It's a low float. It's 2 million. The volume is 32 million. It's traded 16. Is it 16 times its float? Yeah, 16 times its float. The news. I don't know what the news is, to be honest. It's an earnings winner of all. We can see if we look. Linux Technology sold after earnings on the 28th, and today was the 28th. So it reported earnings, it had unprecedented volume. I mean, it's the perfect long, all the biggest nightmare short. And I mean, you can see it's had these back-to-back green days, green day, but then a red day, then a green day, then a red day. And I was talking to a couple of guys, and they're like, shall we long it? And I was like, I would not long this, because like what you've got to do is compare. History doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. So when did it last have the same amount of volume, the same amount of people trading? Well, it was on the 6th of October. And what did it do on the 6th of October? And to be honest, it's probably on earnings, because October, November, December, it's exactly 3 months ago. So I don't know if that was on earnings as well. But what did it do? People were probably buying it in the 280s, 290s. Some were buying it into the close in the 240s. And look, it gapped down to the twos, and everyone who bought it lost 10%. So if that's $2,000, that's $200 loss on a gap down. You didn't even do anything. The market just opened the next day, and you're instantly down. And then if you bag hold, you're down half your profit. So whenever I think, do I want to swing something? I think, well, how did it behave the last time it had similar volume? The last time it had similar volume, it gapped down. So this is definitely not a swing. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But it's too risky. But buying it anywhere in here there's some stocks they're acceptable to chase. And when this pops open, breaks pre-market highs, pulls back, makes a new high of day, anywhere in the breaks the whole dollar mark, it's on earnings, it's unprecedented volume. This is the type of stock I would quite happily chase with reasonable size. I didn't actually catch it yet, but I was seeing this U shape, and the U shapes are what I used to buy when I was going long. And as this was coming down, what I liked to do is I'd let it have its push, let it consolidate. Once it consolidates for 20-30 minutes, again, it's the same thing. Like, I know that it's up on earnings, I know that it's low float, I know that it's got unprecedented volume, I know that these are such strong catalysts. There's not that much chance that this is going to come down. So I'm buying all dips. So I was buying dips in the 260s, buying small dips in the 250s. And by the way, I'm not like averaging down thinking, oh, I'm averaging down to a loser. My plan is to buy very small positions and build into a position. So when it does ramp, the average is low enough that I'll take good profits. This is the strategy that I'm testing. I'm pretty sure it's going to work. I just need to build my confidence with it. So I'm buying dips in the 260s, buying dips in the 250s. Everyone's panicking thinking it's coming down. I know it's not, because it's a good catalyst with high volume and a low float. And then when it rips up, I was selling in the 3.9. So I mean, by the end of it, I had an average of about 270. I sold a lot in the 3. I was trying to get the 309s. I think I sold about the 306s. And I took a very small profit because I'm a super small size. And then it faded off for the day. And this is quite a nice short, but I wouldn't be short an earnings winner. But again, when you start seeing the higher lows, but it is overextended. You've got to think it's gone from the 175 to the 3s. So respect the trend. If it does fade down here, wait for it, let it consolidate over lunch, and then in the afternoon you've got the higher low, the higher low, the higher low. Big volume comes in here, and you've got the push. And honestly, for me, it's let it make its move. If it's making if it's dipping but it's making higher lows, then it's a good buy opportunity, at least to make 5, 6, 7%. And will I be right? Will it gap down? Well, probably, because look, it closed in the 320s. It's already in the 290s. I mean, if I had balls, I would short it, but I don't, especially not after SLGB. Alright, hope you enjoyed the trades, hope you're still with us. And if I can leave you with, I just want to say congratulations to Master Roshi. He's made like 50k this year. Congratulations to Roland, who's made like 500k this year. But there's a lot of us still learning. And I just want to say, I've been told this advice by many winning traders, and I didn't take it on board, and you might not take it on board as well. But if I can leave you with the most important piece of advice that you can take on board for you to be a profitable trader, is that while you're learning and until you're profitable, only spend all of your effort on finding one pattern and tweaking it and redefining it and finding your edge with it. So it might be that playing the opening 945 when a stock spikes and it breaks its pre-market high, or and the stock gaps up and it fails because it's got a bad long-term chart. Look for one specific pattern in one specific time period and track it over and over and over and over and over, and don't trade anything else but that pattern. And if that means that you don't trade for 2 weeks, it means that you don't trade for 2 weeks. But don't lose money. Master one pattern, get profitable at it, then master 2 patterns, then master 3 patterns. People told me this and I ignored it through complete ignorance, thinking I'll find my own way. But the way people find their own way is by mastering one pattern first. And Roland did it. Roland's one pattern was stocks closing strong with a catalyst, with big volume, low float. He was buying stocks that gapped up the next day. And my one pattern was stocks that gapped up with bad long-term charts on weak news. We all have patterns. You need to find one pattern that you feel comfortable with. Find it, find what works for you, then find a second. And if you agree with us, this is my best piece of advice for the whole of 2017. Comment one pattern. Live the dream. I'll see you in 2018.